All right, this is Dan and Jack covering congressional districts. Our next district that we're covering today is Texas's 28th congressional district, featuring Cuellar versus Garcia. Uh, Jack, do you want to tell us a little bit about the seat?
Yeah, so the district itself, it's a 79% Hispanic district. It is right on the border with Mexico. It contains Laredo, Texas. This district, one of its biggest issues is that it has a massive illegal immigration and drug trafficking issue. But they also are a large trading district too. So they've got 20,000 trucks and rail cars cross the border daily. This is kind of an old stat. That was in 2017, and it resulted in $303 billion in two-way trade.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely it's kind of one of those crazier districts that us up in the north just don't even
Yeah,
think about.
it's
Although I guess illegal immigration is starting to affect us here with Texas sending in the buses.
yeah, that's true. They have a fairly interesting congressman there for a Democrat, Henry Cuellar, kind of a blue dog Dem of a kind of a dying breed, I'd say. Kind of an experienced political guy, been in Congress since 2004. Initially won his primary to Congress by only 58 votes. His family's been in elected office in Texas for a long time. His brother's a sheriff, his sister's an assessor. I don't know. I could see these guys being kind of thug,
Yeah.
in the fun political way, not like the not the derogatory way.
Right.
Uh, he's a big supporter of Trump's USMCA, and he stumped for Republicans on occasion. He voted pro-life on occasion as well, but like that's kind of a qualified statement. It's pro-life after 20 weeks, so I mean it's nothing to the degree of pro-life that Republicans are largely, but for a Democrat, it's pretty good, considering what we usually see. He usually
Yeah.
gets the Border Patrol endorsement, except this cycle where his opponent Cassy Garcia got it. Um, he brings home the bacon on Homeland Security funding, which is a big issue in his district, as it jogs along the border quite a bit. And I mean, he got one of his first appointments as Secretary of State from Republican Rick Perry, which is kind of surprising to find out. He's been also catching some heat from progressives. They came after him in the primary this cycle, and it's not really clear how much longer he can survive the way he is. We kind of saw this in Illinois, in a district that we're going to cover a little later, with Dan Lipinski in 2020, where they came after him in 2018, were unable to make it happen. And then they came after him with the progressives again in 20 and were able to knock him off. He had some issue with the FBI that they were also hitting him up on. But he votes with, he's still a fairly solid Dem member of their caucus. He votes with them 96.8% of the time during the current Congress. 80% of the time, 87.9% of the time while Trump was president, and voted with Trump 40.6% of the time, which honestly fairly high for
Yeah,
a
that's pretty high for
Democrat. I
that.
mean, usually in that figure we see like 6%, 8%, maybe 10%. So 40% is, he could tell he's an old school Democrat in the way that he likes being a congressman, and he would like to stay being a congressman. But luckily for us Republicans, we have a good candidate in Cassy Garcia that might be able to knock him off his perch. Jack, you want to tell us a little bit about her?
Yeah, so Cassy Garcia could really bring a real fight to Henry Cuellar. Um, she does have some heat against her, though. So the New York Times called her a far right Latina, um, which I mean is kind of interesting, but she made a big thing about it too. to her advantage, I would say. She went on Fox News talking about it, and she got some name recognition from the New York Times calling her that. So
Probably
that's
a lot of small dollar donations too.
yes, absolutely. And so it definitely while the New York Times may have been trying to hurt her, it probably helped her a little bit more. She's a former Ted Cruz staffer, and she likely knows the district fairly well. She was the deputy state director under Ted Cruz. Um,
Which
and
is a big job. I mean,
yeah,
that she should be fairly knowledgeable about the ins and outs of probably every corner of the state, honestly, which
yeah,
I mean, that's a job that really immerses you in what it is to represent people in a legislative capacity. So I'd say that gives her a decent advantage in terms of understanding politics and the way things actually work.
yeah. So I definitely think that she's a formidable candidate, and she's once again another one of those Republican. Honestly, there's not. I haven't seen too many Latino men, uh, Latins running for Congress, but there's a lot of Latinas, a lot of women that are running as Republicans. We see it in Florida too, and Texas now. It's kind of a little bit of a surge that's been going on here.
Yeah, it's good to see more Hispanic ladies stepping up to the plate.
Yeah,
Especially if the coalitions, if we're going to push that coalitional change that we've been talking about. This is going to be a needed thing on the front lines of that. And it kind of, it's funny, it kind of goes to the heart of that whole idea that, oh, Texas is going to be blue someday. It's like,
yeah,
no,
no.
that doesn't look like it, guys. Sorry to break it to you. Sorry to
um,
break it to you, Beto.
yeah, gosh. It, but I mean, she's definitely a formidable candidate for sure. And one of her top issues, you'll probably see this a lot in the border states. It's her issues are in regards to securing the border, um, which I mean, you'll see it from a lot of Republicans all across the country, but especially in these border states.
Nice.
So should we talk about their funding a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. How are they doing?
Yeah, so Henry Cuellar has raised 3.2, almost $3.3 million. He spent 4 point almost 6 of it, almost 4.6 million of that. Well, that actually didn't make much sense. I wanted to ask you about that actually, because he spent more than he's raised.
Well,
Um,
he probably had more on hand so that
right.
he can just dip into that because this is the time when you spend. So as a sitting congressperson, he has a much easier ability to pull in a lot of these dollars, especially one that's been in Congress since 2004 as he has.
Yeah.
So he's got those relationships with a lot of these PACs, a lot of these groups, and he's probably raising money more in the old fashioned way than like some of your Katie Porters and some of these ladies that have all these small dollar donors do. I would be kind of surprised if Cuellar was pulling a lot of Act Blue money in, being how he kind of presents himself to be, kind of an old school guy. But yeah, they rack up those totals during the off years, and now's the time to spend it, especially in a vulnerable position he's in.
Yes. His cash on hand is 237,000 though, which is
Oh
uh,
wow,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's
much
low.
lower than uh
Oh, he had to burn it in the primary. That's
oh, that's right.
Yeah, because he was almost iced in that primary, which that's good. He had to burn all of it then.
Yeah.
That puts Cassy in a great position. How's she doing financially?
So she has raised 692,000, almost 693. She spent 468 of that, 468,000, and her cash on hand is 225,000.
Okay. She's gonna need to pump those numbers up, but
Yeah,
that's if he's starting from scratch too, she needs to raise more money. But
yes.
she'll
I mean,
she's against a little bit of a juggernaut, but she's a great candidate. So she could pull it off. She's got Ted Cruz in her corner, so hopefully he can help her get those dollars that she really needs right now.
Yeah, I definitely think that this will be an interesting race, especially as we see, like I said, these Latin candidates. Um, I mean, there's just a lot more of them now, especially in these southern border states, and we'll see if that wave can continue and continue to success. Um, and
Absolutely.
and by Latin candidates, I mean Latino Republican candidates. I mean, we see a lot of Latino Democrat candidates all the time, but
Yeah,
this wave of Republicans is definitely it's definitely something new in recent years, and we'll see if it can be successful.
definitely.
That being said, should we close down this video?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for everybody that's listening, and hope you'll join us on the next one. And God bless. Thanks.
Yeah, and that being said, we definitely want to hear your feedback as well. So go ahead and comment below, like our videos, and we hope to hear from you as well. Have a good one.
Thanks.